Early July 1947, in the high desert of rural New Mexico, post-World War II secrecy and growing Cold War anxieties cast a paranoid shadow. Rancher William Mac Brazel found scattered wreckage on the Foster Ranch near Corona and reported it to authorities. The debris lay across fields about 75 miles northwest of Roswell, immediately drawing military interest. On July 8, 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release, written by Public Information Officer Walter Haut, claiming the recovery of a flying disc. That blunt statement set off intense local and national attention, igniting decades of obsession, debate, and non-stop media scrutiny. Within hours, personnel from Roswell Army Airfield, RAAF, led by Major Jesse Marcel, cordoned off the Foster Ranch wreckage and carried brittle metallic fragments into military custody. Gloved hands lifted warped, crinkled sheets of material that looked corrugated and unnaturally stiff. On July 8, 1947, the Roswell Daily Record ran a banner headline, "RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region," and local radio stations fanned the frenzy, looping flying disc into living rooms across New Mexico. Photographers snapped stark images of Marcel holding shards, while officers issued conflicting statements. Walter Haut's blunt press release called it a disc, but higher command soon suggested mundane debris. Maybe clicking subscribe would have saved them. Reporters found confusion at Roswell Army Airfield, and whispers of secrecy and a grim curiosity spread through town. That first wave of national excitement, derision, and bafflement set the stage for official retractions and a deepening, corrosive mystery. Within days, after Walter Haut's July 8, 1947 press release, the military backpedaled. Higher command, publicly led by General Roger M. Ramey, recast the Foster Ranch debris as a mundane weather balloon, a terse retraction that landed like a blunt, metallic lie. Major Jesse Marcel, who handled the warped, crinkled fragments, later said officials ordered him to change his account, and witnesses from Fort Worth to Roswell offered conflicting stories. Rumors spread like wildfire. Locals whispered about bodies, small, limp forms carted away on flatbed trucks. Others reported sealed base records and hurried shredding. Inconsistent testimony, bungled press control, and heavy-handed secrecy turned one sensational headline into a festering wound in public trust, seeding conspiracy narratives that would grow ravenous and set the stage for a bitter, relentless second act. The story festered for decades as researchers, journalists, and claimants scoured New Mexico archives for proof. In 1978, Stanton T. Friedman interviewed Major Jesse Marcel and his son, Jesse Marcel Jr., about the Foster Ranch debris, and their grisly testimony reignited headlines. In 1980, Charles Berlitz and William Moore amplified those claims in the Roswell incident. Through the 1980s and 1990s, FOIA requests, amateur digs at the Foster Ranch, taped witness interviews, and forensic analyses piled up, but they produced conflicting, often bloodless threads. Filmmakers and diggers offered dramatic anecdotes and fragments of evidence, while skeptics pointed to mundane explanations. That tangled mix of testimony and public outcry forced the Air Force to reopen the case. In 1994, it linked the wreckage to Project Mogul, and in 1997, it concluded the bodies were likely misidentified anthropomorphic test dummies, setting the stage for a final, bitter clash. In 1994 and 1997, the United States Air Force published reports tying the Foster Ranch wreckage to Project Mogul, top-secret high-altitude balloon arrays flown in 1947, and identifying purported alien bodies as misidentified anthropomorphic test dummies. The reports drew on declassified program files, launch logs, personnel interviews, and physical comparisons to reconstruct events, but they relied on incomplete archives, degraded evidence, fading memories, and reconstructed chains of custody. The documents were an institutional attempt to close a grisly chapter, persuasive to officials, yet still leaving forensic gaps and angry witnesses. which ensured the grotesque dispute would continue. The Roswell saga turned Roswell, New Mexico into a global cultural touchstone, spawning UFO fandom, conspiracy politics, and a tourism industry built on macabre curiosity. Debates over Project Mogul, a Cold War balloon program, Air Force reports in 1994 and 1997, and alleged cover-ups kept attention on military transparency, media influence, and the fallibility of memory. That stubborn persistence of belief shows how evidence, narrative, and fear can conspire to keep mysteries alive.